David Moore, Dallas Morning News.
You just talk about your persistence with the run game yesterday, even though it wasn't yielding a lot per carry, and what did that allow you to do in the play action game the rest of the way, and how did Cooper execute that part of the game plan?
Yeah, I think the run game certainly we want to perform better in the run game. Felt like going into the game we wanted to not give up in any way and keep leaning on it a little bit, just anticipating the style that game is going to be played in all three phases. And so certainly I think, we got the rush attempts. Hopefully, in those type of games, it's not going to be a bunch of 6-7 yard runs. That's a premier defensive line front. They do a tremendous job. If you pop a couple of those, it feels a little bit different. We weren't able to, but it still kept them in run defenses and allowed the play action to develop over the top. And that was kind of the story of the offensive side, was the big plays we were able to create in the passing game.
Earlier in your play calling career, were you as persistent with the run when you're kind of beating your head against the wall like that?
Everything inside of me wanted to throw the football the entire Sunday. So, but you learn, you grow. I think it's just understanding there's different styles to every game, and there may come a game where you end up having to throw it more than maybe anticipate. But I think for the way that game was being played in all three phases, we felt like it was important to keep staying with it and giving ourselves opportunities at the plate there, so to speak, with the run game. And hopefully we can improve on a few things. We got to clean up some things to give ourselves better opportunities, but we'll get there.
John Show, The Athletic. First part, what did you like most about what Michael Gallup did yesterday? And then the other part was just, was there a time in practice at all in these last few weeks where you were like, Michael's back?
Yeah, Michael's. It's just been such a cool time for us to watch his whole journey go through this process, and it was so cool to get him out there. And I think just the fact that he was out there, that was the coolest part, to start with. He's certainly a very talented player, and we know the physical player that he is, but just to see him out there and have gone through this journey, it was really, really cool. I think everyone else was really, really excited, and for him to get that touchdown, you guys could obviously see the celebration that ensued. It was really special, and he has an impact on a lot of guys, and it's been fun to watch him go through this the last few weeks. And I think so much of it sometimes in those situations is the mental side of going through an injury and building the confidence to get back out there and play. And you saw those the last couple of weeks where he'd make a catch. I think his first ball in practice was a back shoulder fade to Coop through to him, and it was like, all right, MG's out there, and first play in 2 minutes he caught a back shoulder fade, and it was like, awesome, he's back. And then he just kind of built day in and day out after that. He just kind of kept building his confidence. So
Michael Gallup, Dallas Morning News. Can you elaborate a little bit on when the run game isn't going well, why it's important to stick with it? Because especially on first down, it was pretty night and day in terms of the success that you guys had passing the ball in the limited times that you did relative to when you ran the football.
Yeah, the rushing game, first of all, it's got to improve. It's got to get better. Again, I think the style in which that game was being played, as a whole, we felt like, runs, clock, we're going to maybe get one of these to go at some point. We unfortunately weren't able to, but we felt like the style that provided us the best opportunity to win the game was that. And we got to clean some things up. They're really stout inside. We got to get a little bit better there. But when you're in one of those games where you kind of feel like you're ahead of it the whole time, now the flip side of it, the challenge was the third downs. Now we're in a little bit more of a compromised situation. I think we had 10 third and 7 pluses. You're not going to have good third down numbers with that, unfortunately. And so there's a balancing and a give and take to that, certainly. So,
how much does the strength of your guys' defense factor into is complementary football part of that equation?
Yeah, we talk about that all the time, and I think just again, the style that this game was being played in, you got to recognize that and recognize, at the end of the day, we're just trying to win a game, and we'll find the formula that works.
Hey, Kellen. Patrick Walker, Cowboys.com. When you're going against a potential future Hall of Fame guy like Bobby Wagner, but you have the unique ability to have his former defensive coordinator on the same team, do you kind of have those conversations and try to pick Dan Quinn's brain to see what areas you could possibly attack in Wagner's game?
Certainly, we all have relationships around this league. People have been in it for a while, and so you're always kind of able to have those conversations about different players. And Dan and Bobby are a great example. They were together for a few years and did some special things. And so certainly you're going to use Dan's resource. I don't know how much. At the end of the day, Bobby's one of the best in the NFL, and I don't think there's going to be much trick to some secret sauce that Dan's going to be able to provide. But Bobby's been top of the NFL for a long time, and you see he's still right there when you watch the film. It's really, really impressive.
Jory Epstein now who scored. CD had 3 of his 4 catches on that same drive back to back. What was working on that drive? Were those calls for him, or just happened to get him in to have that much success? But then, what was so different about that series than the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's just kind of a little shift. We kind of threw it 3 straight plays in a row, and had been a little bit run the first couple drives, and a little run oriented. First play he was the primary. The next 2 he was really the number 2 in the progression, but he's right there, and so CD's role is he's going to be usually a 1 or a 2 in most progressions, and we'll try and move him around a little bit here and there, but he did a really, really good job. He had a little choice route on the first play, awesome play. Second play, we did a little play action. He ran underneath kind of a little shallow cross route where he was able to get across the field. And then the third one, we kind of had a shot play opportunity for potentially Turpin, and he was the underneath route, and he was open. Coop threw it to him. It was awesome.
Kellen Moore with ESPN. How quickly do your eyes go to Aaron Donald when you're breaking down the Rams this week? And do you find yourself rewinding and going back and saying, did he really just do that?
Yeah, it's very, very quick. These guys got some absolute stars in the NFL, and they do a tremendous job, and they move them around. They play different positions, Aaron, obviously, Jalen, Bobby, so on and so forth. And so, I think it's going to be a really, really big challenge for us.
Were you rooting for Matthew last year in the Super Bowl, and what makes him the quarterback he's been? Obviously, you've been around him.
Yeah, obviously, Matthew. I was fortunate to be around him for a couple of years, and he's one of the best. He's obviously got all the physical stuff we all know, but the biggest thing that I appreciated when I was around him for a few years, I was a rookie, first year, second year, third year with him, and how hard he worked at this thing. That was always the thing that I think people didn't realize was how early he woke up, how much time he spent watching film, how much he took into taking notes and all those things, and everyone sees the gunslinger that he was, as a younger guy. He worked his tail off, and tons of respect. I learned a ton from him, and you see where he's at now, and he's in a really, really good situation now.
How have you seen Tyler Biotish just kind of settle into the position and now this is now his 3rd season?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel he's taken hold of that spot?
Yeah, Tyler's done a really nice job. Physically, you're going to grow each and every year. I think from that center position, it's really critical that you're a very vocal aspect of this offense. You run the show, and in many ways from that interior, the offensive line, and he's done a great job just kind of handling all those different aspects. There's a lot of moving pieces early in the season so far with him, just people around him, and I think he's done a really good job of just continuing to try and keep all that together, communicate well, and get everyone on the same page.
Back on Stafford a little bit. Coming from the situation he did in Detroit, where he was going, where clearly the move was made, you're the guy, you can get us there. Coming from where he did in Detroit, what was it about him that allowed him to actually deliver in that moment? Because that's a pretty big ask.
Yeah, if you guys, I think a lot of people have obviously followed Matthew in Detroit. I mean, I think you guys can look up the number. 2016, they went to the playoffs. I think just about every win was a game-winning drive at the end of every game. He's done it for a long time, and he's battled, and circumstances. There have been good circumstances, there have been challenging circumstances. He's battled through it all. The guy's as tough as they come, and so I think he's certainly a very, very talented, very premier quarterback in this league. Even in some of those challenging situations, and you saw when he had an opportunity to go to LA, and they just had a really, really good team around him. I thought they did a ton of success.
Mike earlier made a pretty good analogy about the defense being a thermostat and kind of like regulating the temperature of the game. And as long as they're able to keep it close, it allows you guys to kind of pretty much be able to do what you want to do. How do you kind of view it in terms of the defense is playing well, so we don't have to get out of our element? We don't have to do too much or push too much.
There's ebbs and flows in the game, I think, and every game is going to be a little bit different. I think that's part of us all being on the same page and kind of recognizing that. Sometimes there's defense may be on the field for a long time. Let's control the ball a little bit here. Let's maybe we need to push it. Maybe we need to create something. And so there's just these ebbs and flows. And I think as long as we're all on the same page and we kind of play the game together, I think that's what's special about. There's times last year where, hey, we gotta open it up. We gotta be aggressive, and we gotta come out aggressive. And at times you gotta pull it back a little bit. And so we're going through that process. And certainly the defense done a tremendous job these first 4 games. Playing some situations, putting us in some situations where, maybe we just need play a little smart and find our way to win games.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. There's obviously a truly dominant number 1 receiver on the other side this week. Earlier this year, I think Troy said in his day it was the receiving core was only as strong as your 3rd link, and he says maybe even today it might be the 4th link. What's your view of the value of a truly dominant one versus feeling like you're 4 or so deep?
I think it's the great balancing act of passing games is, you want to have a number 1, you want to have premier guys, but you got to have the depth, because I think defenses do a tremendous job. Not a lot of people just sitting there playing, standard coverage a whole lot. If you got a premier guy, they're going to do a lot of coverage adjustments and put their premier guys on your guys. And so there's a chess match here going on. And so when you do have that 3rd and 4th option, that's where, the depth of a receiver room becomes critical. They create matchups and opportunities versus, some other guys that maybe you feel better about. And so there's always ones for reasons in this league. You want to get them the ball, you want to utilize them. But there are, extremely talented defenses who do a really good job scheming, and it's important to make sure you have those 3rd and 4th options.
I believe there were 6 run plays that were negative for you guys.
Yes.
And all of them came on first down. What was happening to lead to that uncharacteristic lack of success there?
Yeah, there's 6. There's 1 in the first half, 5 in the second half. You can pick and choose every little thing that you can think about, from scheme to technique to communication. There's a little bit of everything in there, and those are the things that put you in really bad situations. When you're in 2nd and long, and it's a challenge, because that's really known passing downs, and if you're running it, now you're still getting in 3rd and longs, and so biggest thing we got to get out of. You can't have negative plays.
Cooper said yesterday about the defense that they're the reason we're winning. It's plain and simple. Do you agree with that? And do you think he's not giving himself enough credit first when fourth career starts? What goes through your mind when you hear that?
Defense doing a tremendous job. It's really fun to watch. We've obviously competed against them in some form throughout the offseason. You saw it going into it, and I think Coop's done a really, really good job of operating these last few games. He does a great job. He takes the good chances, when you got to take a chance, you got to be aggressive. I think he does a great job of just balancing that act. And, I don't think he plays passive. I don't think he plays just to not screw up. He takes shots. You can see it. We had, 4 20-yard plus, passes downfield where when he sees it, he lets it rip. But, he's playing smart at the same time.
What's been your favorite play by him so far in this stretch?
That is a great question. It's a bunch of them. I think this game, to me, there's 4 big plays. CD had a couple of them. I thought that drive by CD, I thought the throw to Noah was spectacular for him and Noah to throw that pass. And then, Zeke's, it's an explosive play. It's a big play. It's a check down where he finds him. And then CD had a tremendous block that no one really recognized that gives you 15 more yards. And, so I think there's a lot of things that lead into all that.
Dalton, you hit that seam route, really opened things up for Dax on the post, or for Cooper on the post.
Yes.
Sorry, for CD on the touchdown.
Yep.
But he also had no catches, Dalton.
Yeah.
What did you make of his game and the lack of involvement, direct involvement in the offense?
Yeah, it was great to have Dalton back out there. Thought he battled. There's a lot of good stuff in the run game as far as taking care of some edges. The pass protection, we used our tight ends probably a little bit more in some pass protection stuff, and he did a really, really nice job there. And you saw in the pass game, he didn't get the targets that he's accustomed to, but we had one-on-one opportunities outside that we probably spent a little bit more time trying to create. And so he played the assist role. He took his defender and the post safety, opened it up for CD on the one-on-one, and it was awesome.
Jason Peters took 7 more snaps last week than in his debut for the Cowboys, but Connor McGovern being back, how do you balance continuing to ramp up Peters with getting McGovern the snaps he needs and coming back from that ankle injury?
Yeah, it's a good balancing act. Connor was coming back through this process as well, and so we felt like there was an opportunity to utilize both of those guys, and Farniok went and played a little fullback, and so all 3 of those guys have earned opportunities to get out there and play, and so we'll continue to evolve those things. And as Connor, keeps building into this thing, Jason keeps building into, different roles and whatnot, and so all 3 of those guys will be on the field on these coming Sundays.
Your fullback flavor of the week. How do you feel he did
We
there?
just pick one out of the hat. He did a nice job. He really did. The run game wasn't pretty for anyone, but I thought he did a nice job going back there. He operated well. He knew his assignment, and so it's good to have one of those bigger bodies back there, and we'll be able to utilize that at various times throughout the rest of the year.
Which guys bother you most about wanting to be a fullback?
Sorry, what was that?
Which guys bother you the most about wanting to be a fullback?
Oh, there's a lot. Most of the O-linemen want to get back there. Jason's pulling back his tight end days. Obviously, all the defensive guys do. But Micah wants the ball, so I don't know about that. Yeah, he doesn't want to block. He wants to go run the route. He's like, I want to play fullback, but I want to catch it. So
Is Mike going to get an offensive touchdown this year?
I don't know. Don't create a story, please. Oh, he's going to be in my office.
What do you need to see from Dak before you know he's ready to go?
Yeah, just get into the weekly routine. I think it's as simple as that. I mean, he'll get there. When he gets there, and so not worried.
Have you had a thumb injury at all when you were playing?
Nothing to this extent, obviously.
All right.
Babe.
Finally.
Did you like to play Farniak?
Called the linebackers, by the way, in the play action. They all.
Oh yeah, he's learning. He's taking the lessons.
I know obviously as you call the play, you're looking at the defense, knowing what you called. On the ball, the deep ball to Noah, did you actually think the ball might come into CD and the in-round pair?
We anticipated earlier in the game the way they were playing. We were trying to throw it to Noah, and CD kind of became the secondary. They're playing over the top of CD on some earlier looks that we ran the ball, and so we felt like there was an opportunity for Noah to slip it, and Noah set a perfect angle and Coop threw a really special ball.
On CD's touchdown catch, did he widen the angle to cut inside?
CD? Yeah. He did a little double move, kind of widen the corner. Corner's off and outside, so keep him out there, widen him a little bit more. Schultz will take care of the rest. It's awesome. You take a snapshot, and before he even has the ball, the receivers are like this, so they were all ready for it.
That it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.